Very fine. Welcome. You are with Doug Skinner and Guillaume Dumortier, and we are following through on our promise to help people that are in job search, job transition, curious about using LinkedIn, using AI, buffing up their brand, their profile, their outreach, their strategy. And I'm really pleased to have this session, and mostly because I'm with an expert. I regard him as an expert. We met at a conference, an AI conference, and he was one of the keynote speakers. And his name is Guillaume Dumortier. I am working on my French. He's a growth advisor. He's a brand strategist. He's had lots of success over long term, coming from, he's global. I'd say he's a global citizen. AI systems architect, founder of Mystrix AI, also fractional CMO to global brands and local AI entrepreneurs. And so it's really great pleasure to have you with me today.
Thank you.
Our topic was to help with outreach campaigns and LinkedIn and AI. So what I would like to do next is just do a foundational LinkedIn tactic, which is hopefully going to help clear the cobwebs if you've kind of forgotten about it, and or just encourage you to pay attention to what Guillaume's going to be saying in a few minutes about your brand and your profile and your strategy for the marketing end of things. So hopefully that shores up the importance of what Guillaume's going to address with content. So let's begin now. Share screen. Let's see. Bring over one of these windows. It starts here. Of course, it's exploding because I'm pulling it over from another monitor. Okay, so on the feed, I'm going to do a search, and this is for the value of leveraging your first level connections using second level connections. Okay, and begins with this. What I do is, it may start, let's start here. Let's start with a search. I'm going to use just a standard search engine. I'm going to look for job companies hiring now, and we'll pick this one because it showed up, and see there's a list. So you might be using a job board, right? So your job search begins here, or your work, and now we've got a list of companies that are hiring. Let's pick one. This one looks interesting. So we might pick one, something like this. We go here. Then let's say you want a job in project management. Okay. See what we got. No jobs. Okay, so let's try sales. Maybe there's sales jobs for AT&T. Sales and AT&T. There we go. Okay, so we find a job. Now the question becomes, can I be referred to a senior executive at AT&T who would have the ability to open doors for my opportunity, for my interview? And so this is where LinkedIn comes in. So you found a job, you found a company, you want to apply, but you don't want to send your application into a black hole. The next thing you do is begin your search. And what I do here is use a Boolean search. And this one is LinkedIn. I'm using the vowels, A-E-I-O-U-N-Y. And then with LinkedIn, space O-R, capital O-R space is the Boolean connector. And this has the effect of casting a wide net. So you're going to expand on, in essence, all the people in my network with a vowel in their name. And that means a lot. There's going to be a lot there. So I'll put the first filter on as people. And then they used to tell us how many, but there's lots. There's over 1,000 on that one. So I need to filter it down. Yeah, if I was to go into my first level connections, this is what you would do. You might find that there's a lot. There's still 1,000. So let's filter down further. Let's go into that AT&T. Looks like this. Okay, then do I have someone that might help me with hiring? Here's one in Dallas. That's interesting. I could send a message. So I might do that. Another thing I can do is I can take this filter and look at the second level. So I connected to second level people that are working at AT&T currently. All right. So that's a lot. There's still too many here. So I would apply more filters. Over here, the ones I would do would be vice president. So right now I'm still looking at, there's 90 Still, there's a lot of people here. So let's put in another filter, San Francisco. Okay, now I'm down to 5 people that are local, that are vice presidents, that are currently working at AT&T, who may feel like introducing me to the hiring manager at AT&T for the outside sales job. Now, what I'm going to do is go in here. These are my first level connections that are also connected with my target person. And this is the key touchstone right here that I want to work with. Okay, so I'm opening up those others, and you put in your message. Your message might look like, let's pop in a message, and then I'll be done here. Hi, Roderick, how are you doing? I want to learn more about your work at AT&T as an outside sales, about work at AT&T as an outside sales rep. Will you introduce me to Michael Colinari? So Michael is this guy, and thanks so much. It'd be really important to me. That's the kind of message that you send. That's the way you find them. That's the people you go after, and that's how you leverage your second level connections on LinkedIn. And the other items are the AI components to it. And for that, I'd like to flip it over to our guest, Guillaume.
Yeah, thank you. So already very, very foundational task that you're showing, which is, who can connect me to the next person. But, taking a step back, it's not about applying for the job. The job recruiter, the hiring manager, they will look at your profile for sure. So beyond the cover letter and the resume that you can adapt with AI, and when you have a LinkedIn premium membership, you can actually do that within LinkedIn Sales Navigator. That's another story, but just so you know, there are built-in LinkedIn features when you pay for the subscription that help you just adapt the cover letter to the job and help you do the resume against the job description. So here the caveat would be that you need to find the job within LinkedIn so that everything is connected and you can leverage better those AI prompts. But the reality is you could simply copy paste the job description and ask AI with a couple of prompts, right? Those instructions where you're going to ask, hey, can you summarize, the strength of this job offer so that I can reply better? Or you first paste the job description, then you paste your resume and you ask, hey, can you redo my resume to highlight the strengths required for that job offer. But so that's, I would say, the application process. What I like to talk is there is an entire context that you can create around your personal brand, because at the end of the day, we're talking here in a very opportunistic, very focused job, how to apply for a job offer. What I'm saying is it's a long-term game to build your profile on LinkedIn with content that will show your potential recruiter or manager that you are the perfect match for this position. And for this, there are a couple of ways to do it. But what I've developed is basically taking any LinkedIn URL profile so that you can apply it for yourself and get a very clear picture about what are your high impact topics that you are legitimate to talk about. So for instance, I'm a 20 plus year old experienced marketing person. So I'm expected to be very well versed in terms of anything marketing. But really, what are the topics that I am core and unbeatable on? And so that's why I'm going to show you right now. So what you're going to see is the little no-code tool that I've built, first for myself, and then it was very successful. So I opened it up to other people. So I'm going to can you confirm we're seeing my screen?
I can see it, and I appreciate your making it bigger too. It's awesome.
Okay. Well, we're going to use your LinkedIn profile, Doug, for this demo. And so I'll be happy to share, the prompt that's behind. That's not the point. But really the idea is looking at your own profile, or having AI looking at your own profile and extracting core components are going to help you create better content so that you can elevate your personal brand on LinkedIn. Is very much what I think is a little bit of a game changer, but more of a longer term, as I said, is you want to be in a mode where you're going to have a pace in terms of posting. You're going to take yourself, or you're going to hold yourself accountable to write content that people are interested in. So here on the right-hand side, I have this entire LinkedIn profile analysis for Doug, where I am deciphering what could be the best use case for Doug's personal branding on LinkedIn. It restates the I am user story, which is here is how you would say you present yourself given the AI context that's been created. And Doug, if some things are off, please let us know. But I think it's pretty well rooted. We were talking about sales, so DIC profiles is a thing. If you don't know it, it's a way to organize contacts into their behavioral characteristics and how to address them, whether they're influential, they're dominant, whether they're conservative. So if you don't know about this, look it up. It's very, very interesting. So we do have a disk profile analysis for Do.
That's really awesome.
Thank you. It's just a prompt at the end of the day. It's copy pasting. What it does is in the back, it copy pastes all your profile data, like as if you are copy pasting the entire profile, and there's a prompt analyzing it. But what I was talking about is really about those high impact content themes. So the idea is, regardless of the job offer, regardless of what you're trying to pursue, your personal brand still exists every day. And this is one way to maintain it with content. So here, the analysis of the profile gives us 5 core topics that Doug is very legit to talk about. So we have RevOps revolution, go-to-market innovation and AI. Well, we're talking about an angle of this today. Sales enablement mastery, leadership in the digital age, and customer-centric growth. Does it reflect who you are as a person, Doug? I know you a little bit, but does it?
Those are juicy topics of interest. And if anyone was to look at my blog articles or my YouTube channel and videos that I've published, they would see that this is definitely echoes those topics.
Right, great. So now, follow-up question: how much time do you spend per week trying to ideate, find new content posts, and draft them?
It's a lot. I'm not going to lie. I'm making pivot, right? So the market is upside down right now. So there's lots of opportunities, and AI is my co-pilot. So I probably spend about, 3 hours a day on average.
So it's a lot, which is good to use AI. If it's to produce content, if you do this once a day, that's even better. But here, with what I'm going to show you, you can really create that content engine that's going to help you, have a cycle of content production on the topics that you are legit to talk about. So here, the themes, the remaining of the prompt gives you already for each theme 3 content ideas with their engagement driver and the content gaps to avoid, which is in order to avoid the plain content dilemma. It's really helping you contextualize the types of posts that might be interesting. So RevOps revolution, we have 3 themes: GTM, innovation, and AI. I guess we're going to follow on this one. So you get the idea, right? So let's say that we want to go GTM, innovation, and AI. Here, I have this little topic. And what happens is I already have content ideas. Like we're drilling down a layer deeper. So now, on the topic of GTM, innovation, and AI, we have this first content idea. Small data, big result, API GTM for limited data sets. We have another one, which is the talent gap. We have another one, which is the 90-day GTM transformation road. We have another one. So you have 10 total. Every theme has 10 propositions. So let's say that I like the 90-day AI transformation roadmap. So now I'm going into a mode where, all right, this was just a little bit slow to load. So now I'm reducing and narrowing my workflow to that very post that I want to do. And there are 3 steps to it. The first one is, and it's very important to me when I create content, is I want to have fresh facts. I want to have non-hallucinated data. So I'm going to run a first prompt, and this one is going to Perplexity, and it's going to gather from the past 30 days all the facts, data, reports, quotes, news, highlights that pertain to that very context of the post that we have selected to draft right now. So here you go. We do have the key facts and statistics for your AI GTM transformation roadmap. So you might be wondering, well, maybe how much of this is hallucination? Well, my answers to you is 0%, because I'm using Perplexity API. And the Perplexity API is actually grounding its search and referencing all the links that it has used. It's called citations in the Perplexity world. And yes, I have them. And better yet, see, I have all the sources. And we do have some McKinsey. We have some daemon base, some monday.com blog posts, reply.io, copy.ai. So we know already who's talking about that topic, which informs us also into, hey, maybe I should talk to these people. That's more secondary. Now, what we're going to do, since we have the context of the post, we have key facts, I'm going to run a big fat instruction prompt that's now using Claude, because that's my personal favorite for copywriting. And it's taking all the facts that we just gathered, the context of the post we want to create, and the prompt of copywriting that's behind, and it's going to create an essay of 2,000 plus words. Super well structured, almost like a guide, a very structured guide you'll see in a minute. And I anticipate on the next step, once you have this, you can publish on your blog as your kind of go-to destination. But the idea is really, how could you disseminate and sparkle your LinkedIn profile with your with this content? So one idea is you use that pillar content that we're going to see, you use it as an article on LinkedIn, which is a different object than a post, right? On LinkedIn, if you don't know, you can create an article, and this article can be nested under a newsletter. So piece of advice, if you want to commit yourself to writing weekly, or bi-weekly, or regardless of your frequency, I entice you to create a newsletter under your LinkedIn profile. That will be the home to your big articles, similar to the one I'm going to show you. It becomes interesting because then that becomes the go-to destination for your people to reach on LinkedIn, but also it helps the algorithm, since you're playing by the LinkedIn book per se. Because you're using native objects and native posting on LinkedIn, LinkedIn will naturally favor your piece of content in its algorithm. So it's been drafted, and we can see that, it has a very well structured. So see, we're already reusing first sentence, in first paragraph, we're already reusing the facts that we have gathered in the previous step. And be the judge though, guys. If you like what you're saying, just please say so, and same if you don't.
Oh yeah, this definitely rhymes with what I would regard as best in class content with relevance for my LinkedIn audience. So, and my own interests. Is this one article, or is this that you're scrolling through right now? Is this one article?
So this is one article. It's an essay. It's more than 2,000 words, so it's long form. So it's an article. Okay, it's not a post. What you want to do is take this outline and edit it. And so that allows me to do a big kind of a takeaway. This is just the beginning of your editing job. This is 80% of the job done. You still require some editing. See, it gives you prompts for visual interactive elements or pull quotes. So it's not ready to publish as is. You still, as a human, need to edit here and there, but that's 80% of the way. Right? What you're talking about.
On the 20%, I'm thinking, is there a provision that allows me to personalize with my own experience this content? So, for example, I could inject a story where it strengthens the point, right? Drives home the point.
So what you do is you take that content, so not on Maestrix right now, but you copy that content here, and you go maybe on ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, your go-to AI tool, you paste it, and then you ask what you just asked me, or you paste the other story, or you say, hey, I want to add this story to this, rewrite, or I want it to be 3 parts instead of 5. I'm gonna do it. So the reformatting, the go back and forth with it, it's not here. Here we are just helping you to go 80% of the way. But in order to get the workflow complete, so this is big, you're never going to post this as a post, as we say. You're going to do this as an article. But you'll then have an article that you can always refer to. So it's a good idea to have those snippets of the article that you can disseminate over the week that you are treating that topic on LinkedIn. And it's called zero-click content. So those are the posts that don't necessarily have a link in the content itself. Which typically, you have the entire post content, and then you plug the link in the first comment. This is the type of situation we're here. So basically, this instruction is doing, it's splitting and slicing this entire essay into snackable contents of their own. So because it's very long, it offers you 10 snackable highlights of that content that you can choose to link back to the article or not. And we're going to see in a
This
second.
is gigantic. So those snackable bits could be posts. Those snackable bits could be parts of, or comments that I make on related posts that other people have.
Yes.
So it pulls them back to my article.
Yeah, everything is verticalized, and they all have in common the context of the post ID that we selected in the beginning, which was the first 90 day of AI roadmap, right? This is what we are working on. And remember, at the beginning, we had 10 different content IDs that we could choose from. So now imagine if you repeat this during the 3 hours that you are spending in one day, you can generate the content for, you do the math, how X number of days.
Well, if I did 10 of these, that would be 100 days. If I did all the snippets from each article, that could be potentially a quarter worth of posts. I'm not saying I would do that, but there's a lot of choices there.
And I see. Here we go. It's a little long. My network is not very good, but so, as it says, I call them zero-click content because when a user is reading it, it should get the value without having to click further. But it's always a good idea to link it back to the bigger piece, if you will, to show the depth of your expertise or the depth of the thinking that you put behind that content. So here, the first post is about the implementation gap. It has a hook, the main content, a call to action. Second post is about the hidden cost of AI, always referenced with the data that we've used. Yeah, and that's pretty much it.
It's a very powerful content tool. It solves a very common problem for LinkedIn executives that I'm talking to, namely, what do I post? What is my content? How do I build my brand? How do I drive engagement? How do I make connections that are worthy, that are meaningful, that are relevant, that are timely? And this goes long way towards solving those. So the text that gets presented in this platform, Maestrix, would then be like curated in another document application and then pasted into the LinkedIn article.
Yes. And I'm transforming and I'm upgrading the platform here. Here, I build it on a no-code platform called Bubble. So it's not, designer perfect, but in the new version that is almost ready to go, you'll have this capacity to set your brand tone voice. Do you want to be more professional, more casual, and have those controls around the brand tone voice? I mean, your voice too. And really, I think that the main takeaway here is you own your personal brand. So basically, whatever is on LinkedIn is what people will perceive as your personal brand. So there are a couple of foundational elements. So how good is your LinkedIn profile today is the first question that you should ask yourself. How you can use LinkedIn to go to the next step of your professional journey. You just saw that in the beginning. How do you emulate your personal brand on LinkedIn with content is what we've just shown. And I think don't be trapped by the AI content is plain and is detectable, because the reality is we're entering an era of internet AI content. So everything that I've shown, take it with a pinch of salt, which is you still need to put your human touch on it, which is going to make it yours, truly yours. And so that you can sign yours truly, help with AI, right? So I think it's important because you want to introduce transparency, authenticity, and you want it to transpire who you are as a person. Your help to go deep and show expertise, which is what AI helps you do. But the way you're choosing the visuals, the pace at which you're posting, the comments that you're going to follow up with and disseminate across the platform are as important as just having good content out there. And the harsh reality, because there is a harsh reality, is don't do it for engagement likes. Just do it to keep on building your personal brand. Engagement on the topic will inform whether your current audience and your current contacts do like the content you're producing. But always think, in the context of our conversation today, Doug, is you're trying to secure a new job. So what you care about is, will it be of interest of my potential next manager or hiring recruiter within that company? So here we did AI GTM transformation roadmap. That should be of interest of a sourcing or recruiting manager that is trying to find a project manager that knows a thing or two about AI and how to practically implement it. Maybe Joe, your friend that is in Wisconsin, that has nothing to do with tech or is not looking for a job, I don't say, looks like Doug is going into this AI game, but you don't care if he likes or he doesn't like. You care about consistently adding value to your profile in the form of this content, created with Maestrix or not. Because at the end of the day, I just simplify the process. Because if you noticed, we just input your LinkedIn profile and we just click buttons after.
Very interesting. So what would be a good perspective, good guidance for someone that may not have the faith, a strong confidence that this is going to pay off? Because the learning curve and the workload in the beginning to figure this out has a disproportionate cost in time. And so what kind of words do you have for people that may not be able to put together a consistent long-term action plan or execute on that? Any things that you've experienced or your mindset about this, how you approach this? Because it seems like it's a long game when you're doing content development like this.
Yeah, I mean, the content creation is always the bottleneck. And even creation is like, what am I talking about? What is going to be interesting? Here, the process is completely simplified. I mean, the bottleneck is removed with what I just showed you. It's just an engine that's just going to create. What you need to do is edit it and make it yours. So it brings me to what is the long-term game? The long-term game is taking yourself accountable to find your pace. And maybe it's going to be once every month because you need to figure it out. And then you'll get the hang of it. And so you do once a week. But the content creation process is out of the way with AI. Really what you want to focus about is authenticity in your brand tone and voice and showing up. So it's really about you need to be there. There's no question asked. And LinkedIn has a lot of bad things, and the inbox and prospecting inbox is one when it's cold outreach without context. But content creation where you can put your own spin, your own authentic tone and knowledge and stories.
Yep.
I think the network just broke. But yeah, authenticity, being authentic and taking the time to edit what AI is giving you and showing up. So that would be my 2 takeaways.
Excellent. Well, this has been valuable and certainly uplifting in terms of raising my awareness and encouraging from the standpoint of having clarity around the bottleneck breakage. And it really behooves everyone to be paying attention to these capabilities and square it up with, like, why are you here? And be ready for some engagement and a new stage of fun with respect to building the business. And if you're in sales, it's building your pipeline. And if you're in marketing, it's crafting a clarity around your brand and executing on that and the strategies for growing the business. And those are, I think, really important. And you've nailed it. You certainly, your diligence with and your intentional work on this subject is valuable. So I want to just say thanks for joining today. It's awesome to have you. And hopefully, we should make an offer before we part ways. I've got one and I know you've got one. So I'm going to share screen and get everyone started. And mine might really square up with yours very well, because what I'm suggesting is that everyone who sees this try to use this capability here. It's called the Social Selling Index. And I'm going to get it squared up here. If you just do a search, LinkedIn, the way to find it, and SSI. Okay, so if you do that, you'll find it like that. And when you get in here, you would do this. I only get your SSI score. And this is a number, and it's based on 4 components. Your brand, are you finding the right people? Are you engaging? And are you building relationships? If you do this, you'll have a baseline and maybe a way to measure for your analytical self the benefits of what Guillaume might offer. What would you want to be offering? Anything?
No, I think you know the tool Maestrix, so you can sneak around and see what's on it for you. So as you personal brand is just one aspect of many other growth tasks that you can accomplish in it. But what I find empowering is how to teach people how to use prompts. So basically have a cookbook of instructions that I've been developing for 2 years. So either you can have them ready to use on the platform, but if you want to harness them for yourself, that's more of a training slash workshop program situation. And I know we talked about this, Doug. So I think the best way to do this would be to combine this training and workshop with those two dimensions. We talked about this, so it's no surprise that I'm throwing it here. And yeah, whoever is interested can have his seat to the upcoming training workshop that we're going to put together.
Yes. Well, I certainly am eager to see how well we can do in that area and work to get people enrolled. So would they let's just contact Doug on LinkedIn and we'll get you going. We'll get you going there.
You're the go-to person here. So
well, yeah, I've been on LinkedIn for quite a while. I did a member ID search and my number is 131,824. So that was a long time ago. And my habits about and my curiosity with technology has not changed. So I jump on things quick. And so that's the same is true for Gen AI and agentic systems. And so it's really great to get exposure with what you have to share today, Guillaume. So it's really awesome. And we'll be seeing you on LinkedIn and other places. Thanks for joining today.